Welcome to my channel Usman Khan, the information blend. How a Euphoria star Sydney Sweeney went from poverty to $9 million fortune. The 25 years old actress has gone from living in motor room sharing a bed with her mum to have net worth in the millions. Yes, she is a young star everyone's talking about and seems to become an overnight sensation thanks to Euphoria. But 25 years old Sydney Sweeney has been quietly working extremely hard to make her US 6.2 million and Australian 9.3 million fortune. Having grown up in poverty and seen her struggle to become an actor break her family apart, she's been determined to make as much as money as possible, and that dream has come true. A picnic cloth line she founded and her successful acting career has propelled her into a millionaire status. In 2018, Sydney landed Netflix show Everything Sucks as well as the role of child bride Eden Spencer in hit TV show The Handmaid's Tale. But it was her role as Cassie Howard in Euphoria that thrust into her the spotlight. According to Life and Style magazine, Sydney earned around US $350,000 and Australian $525,000 for the second series of the hit show. She went on the star in the first series of The White Lotus and went in Quentin Tarantino film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Sydney is like to have earned her biggest paychecks yet, as she's set to star in two high-budget blockbusters, Spider-Man spin-off Madame Web and Sony Barbella reboot, both due out next year. Sydney has used stunning model looks to her advantage, fronting fashion campaign for Miu Miu, Gen Z skincare brand Lineage and Armani, which are sure to have pulled in big bucks. But her collaboration with Frankie Bikinis and with her brainchild having already teamed up with the brand on Euphoria. Sydney has previously spoken of how she models and advertises for brands because she feels the pressure to earning money all the time, with no rich family to fall back on. She told the Hollywood Reporter, "If I just acted, I would not be able to afford my life in LA. I would take deals because I have to. If I want to take a 6-month break, I don't have income to cover that. They don't pay actors like they used to, and with streamers, you no longer get residuals. The established star still get paid, but I still have to give 5% to my lawyer, 10% to my agents, and 3% or something like that to my business manager. I have to pay my publicist every month, and that's more than my mortgage." Sydney to drive to make money comes from her humble upbringing in Spokane, Washington. When she was the first starting out, Sydney family will frequently travel the 2,000 kilometers from Spokane to LA and rent places there while she worked on a small parts films including The Ward and Spiders 3D, which did not make a lot of money. The family ended up relocating to LA, but when her dad lost his job and went bankrupt, they were forced to sell their house and move into a motel. Sydney said, "We lived in a one room. My mom and I shared a bed, and my dad and a little brother shared a couch." Looking back now, it makes no sense because if they could not afford going back and forth, they were not going to be able to afford living in LA. Everything went downhill from here and her parents got a divorce. Even now, Sydney blames herself what happened. She said, "They always say I was not your fault. It was." Sydney was desperate to get her family back together and always planned to buy back their family home with the money she earned from acting when she was 18. However, despite having a small roles in big TV shows, Heroes 290210, Grey's Anatomy, she had nowhere near enough money. She said, "I only had $800 to my name. My parents were not back together and there was nothing I could have. I never cried more in my entire life. I hated going home and friends or family members being like, 'When you are going to home, I come home and get a real job.' There were a lot of real condescending statements that would make me disappointed in my life and guilty that my parents had given up so much to allow me to follow my dreams." But thanks to her successful TV career and modeling, Sydney was finally able to splash out as Los Angeles mansion in January 2022, paying US $3 million, Australian $4.5 million as a whopping over the asking price. The 90-year-old house in which she lives with her fiancé Jonathan Davino was described as a two-door traditional in the listing and has 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms throughout its 9,975 square meters. It is a private as well, atop a hill overlooking the street, with a 3-car garage being included. Sydney told the Express, "I always thought that when I turned 18, I did have to this money. I did buy back my parents. I house and bet them all back together again. I never was able to, and I did. So now being able to in a house in such an incredible, humble, and amazing accomplishment that I still cannot believe I was able to pull off." I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.